Hey everyone, welcome to the Farm and Pastor's Wife. I'm so glad you're here. Today we're just going to be making a delicious sandwich, tuna burgers. I haven't made them and it's been over a year I think since I've made them, and I am craving them. So we're going to make that. But first, I thought we'd walk out here to the garden. I also want to show you something on the new fruit bushes that I just planted. Kind of want to get your thoughts on it, and y'all, those of you that garden fruit and so forth. I still do not have my peach tree covered up. I'm trying to get in the garden, trying to get through the netting. Oh, I wore the wrong shoes out here. Okay, so I'm not going to walk down in here because I don't have on the right shoes. I wasn't thinking. But hang on, let me just show you how beautiful the garden is. The tomato plants are looking beautiful. I do like to come out and check for any like double blooms because I want to pinch them off if they're on there. But everything is looking beautiful. My green beans are soon going to need their trellis put up. They look absolutely gorgeous. So I've got some like individual weeding around the plants I need to do, but overall it looks good. But the whole reason I brought you out here is for the fruit bushes. So let's go over there. Okay, so like I was saying, I have not put the net on my peach tree yet. A lot of the fruit are just prematurely falling, which it probably does that because there was so many of them. You know, it probably just does that because I don't see how that tree could support as many fruit was on it. But let me show you. I think my fruit bushes that I just planted have rust, and which I know is like a fungus. So I think copper is the way you treat this, but I thought I would ask you guys to be sure. Here is the blackberry bush. It is doing amazing. Like, look at all these blossoms that are new blossoms. Absolutely gorgeous. And I'm so tickled with how it's doing. I can't tell if that's rust or if that's where, you know what I think that is? I think Bryant fertilized it, and that's where some fertilizer landed. I don't think that's rust. Anyway, but hang on, let's look. This one, I am so worried about this one. But there again, it looks like, I don't know. I don't know. Y'all tell me, is that rust? Now this doesn't have any blossoms or anything on it. So we'll just have to, this one kind of looked like it went through some transplant shock when we transplanted it. So I'm hoping, I don't expect anything off of it this year. Maybe it'll come back next year. But let's go over here and look at the grapes. The grapes look wonderful with the exception of a little bit of rust spots. So, but look, we have grapes. I'm so tickled. We've got to get a trellis up for this. It's already got some, you know, things that'll grab hold. So super excited. But I don't see any signs at all of rust on my substantial already stuck in here blueberry bush. I have like a separate, what is that? That almost looks like blackberries growing inside my blueberry bush. Isn't that what that looks like? It is. Look, there is blackberries growing inside my... That is wild. And I'll have to trace them back down, their limbs back down. That is wild. Did y'all see? Did you see what I'm looking at? Can you guys see those blackberries? inside the blueberry bush. So obviously there's some wild blackberries that have taken up in here, and they have thorns. So, but this blueberry bush is loaded. So, all right, let's get in the house and start thinking about making some tuna burgers. So I've got my ingredients out here for my tuna burgers, but I'm also putting sugar in my tea pitcher. And I know some of you are probably thinking, my goodness, Leslie, you live in North Carolina. If you know the weather here, you know we're in the 80s. And you're saying, my goodness, Leslie, you have on a long sleeve shirt. Yes, I do. And if you know me at all, you know I'm pretty much always cold. But I also could stay in the house with no air on at all, and it be cool outside, have the windows open, and that coolness, even though I may be chilly and may be cool, for some reason that doesn't bother me, but the air being on bothers me. Like, I don't like the air on. It's a different kind of cold. It's a with lack of a better term to describe it, it's a painful cold to me. Air conditioning air is painful. Sunday, I was like, if it gets any colder in the church, I'm gonna have to go outside. I'm gonna have to like walk outside in the middle of service, and I'm the preacher's wife. I can't do that. But I was like, I cannot take this. And I let me tell you, I wore a coat. Well, really wasn't a coat. It was a jacket that I put on after we sang. I put on a jacket. I take a blanket. I wrap up in the blanket at church, and I was still freezing. And you know, some people say, have you had your thyroid checked? Yes, it's fine. It's because you lost weight. I was cold-natured way before I lost weight. I'm sure that has not helped any, but I was definitely cold-natured prior to. But with that being said, my sweet husband is out mowing. Bless his heart. Y'all, we had an appointment. He went out and he cut hay this morning. He had Daniel rake it. He then cut some more hay. He had to stop and us go to an appointment at the accountant's office. Then he came back, put back on his work clothes, cut some more hay, had to stop to go to a funeral, came in and went right back to cutting hay, finished cutting hay, which all those appointments in between cutting hay, that was no problem because you don't really get dirty cutting hay. It's all the other stuff because he's in a cab tractor. He's got the air on. So that's not that much. But right now, what he's doing is he has gone out and he's tedding hay, which means he's fluffing it up so that it'll dry. The air will get to it and it'll dry out so that he can bale it. So he is tedding hay right now. I think Isaac is out baling hay. So I know Bryant's going to come in here super hot and super dry. So I cut the air on. So that is why I have on a cozy long sleeve shirt. But I'm getting ready to start our tuna burgers. Y'all, I love them so much. The original recipe came from Paula Deen, I believe. And I have tweaked it much like I do on most recipes. I have made it my own as far as how we like it. And based on what I usually have on hand. So we're going to make Leslieized tuna burgers. And if you watched yesterday's pasta salad, you know I'm all about you taking a recipe and you, even if it's my recipe, you take my recipe and you tweak it and you make it your own. And So that's what we're going to make tonight. So I'm going to go in. I just put the sugar in the tea pitcher for the tea. I got to pour up the tea. And we're going to make tuna burgers. Caroline and the boys are coming over. Judah's going to watch a movie. So I may get this started a little bit before they get here, because when they get here, they get crazy and it gets hard to film. So let's go kind of put everything together except maybe the breadcrumbs and get these tuna burgers at least mixed up before we start frying them. So let's go in. All right, I've already poured up my tea. I'm just adding in a little water. Well, I got to add in a lot of water, but I like to run some over the tea bags just to get any excess delicious tea flavor out. And now I'll finish filling it up with water. So we're going to get started on this. Y'all, I did the funniest thing a while ago, and I wish the camera had been going because it was hilarious. Excuse me if you hear my drains. It's, yeah. Anyway, it's an old house. I was looking at my candle, and I was putting my phone on the tripod to get it set up, and I was thinking about how good that candle smelled, and I smelled my phone. Y'all, it's not easy being me. It's not easy being me when you smell your phone. All right, let's add water to the tea, and let's chop some onion. I'm gonna chop just a little bit, maybe 1/3 of a cup, 1/4 of a cup, somewhere around there. All right, let's get to chopping up some onion. I want to be sure and get all this onion peel that may not be good off. All right. All right. Y'all, my washer is doing a blanket, and for some reason, I don't care how much I get it turned around, it never, that may be a little more onion than what I want, but that's okay. We'll just put a little in at a time. And I like my onion chopped up pretty fine, so that's why I'm going back over it. All right. All right, I'm just going to kind of leave this. Woo, eyes are burning. Okay. So now I'm going to start in my bowl here, and I'm going to crack open 2 eggs. And we're going to go ahead and just kind of give them a pre-beat. Okay. All right. Let's grab a fork. And sorry, this bowl is, whatever it is, it's going to make some noise. And I'm just giving this just a pre-beating. Hey, and I don't know if I finished what I was saying about my laundry. I don't get the blanket even. I don't care how much I try. I can try and try and try and try and try and not get it even. So what I'm opening now, anyway, and so it bangs around when it's spinning, so I can hear it out there banging. So if y'all hear it, I apologize. I'm opening up 2 cans of tuna, and you can by all means use light tuna that's light and dark meat, or you can use, I like the all white, solid white albacore. That's just because Well, that's for two reasons. One, it's what I prefer. And two, since it's what I prefer, it's what I always have on hand. So we're going to open up 2 cans of this. And I'm just going to take a fork and kind of break it up. And I'm going to break this first one up before I add the second one in, because sometimes it gets hard to break it up. And you want it broke up pretty fine. So I'm going to let that fork hang out there. I'm going to drain this other one. And we'll break them both up. And then we'll just keep adding in goodness until it's almost time to just wait, because we can let it get to a certain point and then let it hang out. It doesn't have to hang out and wait, but I'm just kind of mixing this up before the boys get here and things get loud and crazy. If you know what I mean. All right. So I'm just, again, taking my fork and I'm breaking this up the best I can. I love tuna. I love it so much. There for a while, I was eating it all the time. And I think people were, concerned about mercury. But I don't think, I don't think it was harmful amounts. I mean, I guess if I was eating tons every day, it could be. And depending on any health issues that I had that would not metabolize things correctly or whatever, could potentially cause issue. But I'm a pretty healthy horse, so. All right, I'm going to go ahead and add in, I don't know, about 1/4 of a cup maybe of onion. And we're going to start with that. I'm also going to add in a tablespoon of garlic. And I'm just going to eyeball that. Do what I do best and eyeball things. I measure, people say you measure with your heart, and that's exactly how I measure, is with my heart. All right, now these are chopped pimentos, and there again, I'm going to measure with my heart. I'm actually going to put in maybe 1.5 tablespoons to 2 tablespoons of pimentos. I really like the pimentos in there. I'm also going to add in about 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. If you have real lemon juice, by all means use that. Now, Paula's recipe calls for horseradish. I never have horseradish, so I just use hot sauce, and I just, again, measure with my heart, and I like quite a bit. Now, you could definitely add in celery. In fact, I think Paula's actual recipe calls for celery. But, so right now, I'm just going to let this kind of hang out. We're going to add some breadcrumbs in to dry it up, to kind of soak up these juices. And I'm still breaking up tuna. And that helps too, because that helps. As you break up that dry tuna, it kind of soaks up some of the juices. And so that's what you want. And so yeah, we're pretty golden here. I'm also going to add in, while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to add in some black pepper. Maybe 1/2 teaspoon. And you want to stir that up, because you definitely don't want to get a full bite of black pepper. But the next thing we're going to add to this is breadcrumbs. Again, I'll be measuring with my heart. Your eggs can be different sizes. So I'll just get it to a consistency where I can patty it out really well, much like a salmon patty. Once I add the breadcrumbs. And we're going to fry this. You can use the Italian herbed breadcrumbs. I'm using plain. You can use panko if you wanted. I think the regular breadcrumbs work best for this. If I was coating it in the breadcrumbs, it might be good to use panko. But I am mixing these in to help hold them together. So I think that the regular breadcrumbs works better. You can, by all means, you make your own breadcrumbs. Hey, we're going to be making bread probably one day this week. I'm ready for some homemade loaf bread. I don't buy bread a lot, but when I do, a lot always goes to waste or gets, you know, feed the fish. But so it doesn't technically get wasted, but it doesn't get consumed by us. So I'm thinking about making some homemade loaf bread. My recipe makes 4 loaves. I thought we can eat on one, and I make them in the smaller loaf. We can eat on one. I can give one to Caroline to eat on. I can give one to Isaac to eat on, and then we can freeze the other one. Or we can give Daniel one to eat on. So that would be great. I could make my 4 loaf recipe and everybody have one. So, all right. So we're going to just let this kind of hang out. And if you saw when I put the pimentos in, I kind of drained the juice off as much as I could. Same with the garlic. I'm not going to add any more onions. I'm just going to put these in a little baggie and stick them in the freezer, and I'll have chopped onions when I need some. In fact, I may finish chopping that onion because I'm bad to let things sit around and then they're not usable. So I may go ahead and chop those up, stick them in a baggie, and stick them in the freezer. All right, let me get this cleaned up. I'll meet you back when it's time to put the breadcrumbs in and to start frying. Whew, y'all, my eyes are screaming. Leslie, what were you thinking? You should have let that onion go to waste, is what my eyes are saying. But my future self, future Leslie will thank me because I won't have to chop an onion. I'm just going to I'll do all this in another bag. Guys, did y'all see in Kentucky all those terrible storms and the devastation? The town that was hit the worst, some friends of ours live in that town. He and his family were spared, and but they know so many, I'm sure, that were not. So we have so much to be thankful for. Even when our trials seem so big, in the scope of things, we are blessed. Oops, I'm getting onion skin. All right. So, like I was saying, future Leslie is going to say, woo, so glad you did this. The Leslie right now, her eyes are screaming. I have tried every one of there's not a remedy out there that you can tell me that I haven't tried to save my eyes. I have tried them all. But the 2 times I can do onions, and I never think to do it. I don't know why. Because sometimes they bother me and sometimes they don't. It just depends on, I guess, something in the onion. But the 2 times they don't bother me is if I'm wearing swim goggles, which I bought goggles just for cutting onions, or if I have my contacts in. And I rarely wear my contacts, so, and I never think to put the goggles on. Plus, I look kind of silly, but it's okay. They'll feel better in a minute. I'm going to put these in another bag and get them in the freezer, and then I'm just going to kind of chill out and wait until it's time to finish these tuna burgers.
Turns out it was the place I've been looking for my whole life. A world where anything you can imagine, you can create. The more I do, the better I got. Lucky for me, Candace left the party. You're simply there's no joy or creativity at all. Just a mindless lust of gold. These piglin brutes that mine this realm into oblivion. Led by Mount Joseph, the evil piglins again. But we had a world to save. So we ran all the way back to my house on Earth and hid the most powerful object in existence under my water basin. This guy. Come on, Levi. Get down, come on.
All right, everybody, I finished them off. Just let them hang out in the oven at about 375, 400 degrees, just till I'm ready for supper. That kind of finishes cooking them a little bit. Now, I'm going to show you how I eat mine. The way I eat mine is different from Bryant's, but I told y'all I forgot to get him lettuce and tomato, but Caroline brought some leftover lettuce and tomato. But I think this is best eaten with honey mustard. It is so good. So good. So I put a little bit on the bottom, and we just get that tuna burger. Someone wants to say hello. And we're going to just top mine with more honey mustard on the top. Now, I set the hot sauce in there. Jamie, do you eat yours with honey mustard or? No, just mayonnaise? Just mayonnaise? That's Caroline's, just mayonnaise. Bryant, what's yours? Honey mustard?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll have your redone.
Okay. All right. So let me give this a bite for you. You want a bite?
Yes.
Mm.
Let me have a bite.
It's hot.
Okay.
Tuna wants a bite.
Hot.
Did you get two little boy thumbs up there? So this is kid. Oh, look at there. Kid friendly. Good job. He's holding a remote up. All right. So I'm going to go sit down and everybody's going to. Hey, Brian, come here. They want to see you. They didn't see you yesterday. Well, they may have saw you briefly yesterday. But they didn't see you try the pasta salad.
I've been out working.
Yep. He's in his wordy clothes. His working clothes.
Overalls. Here we go. You ready?
Now that's the way I like it, with just honey mustard.
This is a family
So
staple.
good.
We've been eating these
For years.
for years. You made them when we lived in Tobaccoville. So we've been home 9 years. So we've been eating these for a good long while.
Judah's coming back for more.
Yeah.
I think he liked it.
he liked it.
All right, so we're going to go sit down and eat, and we appreciate you guys being with us. The boys have a movie they're going to watch tonight.
Hang tight. We'll come back and wrap it up in a minute.
Yep.
Minecraft movie.
All right, everybody, we are going to end the video here. Everybody's sitting around eating it. Judah's actually on his second sandwich, so
Benji can't have one.
Benji's been eating some of our pasta salad, but Judah wants to tell you what he thinks about the sandwich.
All right, Judah, tell him. You ready? Loud.
Phenomenal.
It's
Phenomenal.
It is phenomenal.
He wants his two front teeth for Christmas.
That's right.
Levi, how is it, buddy? He
has to take a bite of it.
Take a bite. Ready? Here we go. Y'all see that big bite?
The best in the whole world.
The best in the whole world.
All right, Mom. Tell them good night.
All right, y'all got to make these. They're delicious. Thank you for watching. Remember, if the grease is hot enough, you can fry anything. Bye, y'all.